Fragnets and splitting bars for delay analysis. So what is a fragnet? As far as delay analysis is concerned, a fragnet is a sequence of logically linked activities which are typically inserted into a program in order to demonstrate the effect of a delay event. Generally, a fragnet has a predecessor link to an activity which was affected by a delay event. The successor or successors to a fragnet retains the original program network logic. Once a fragnet is inserted, the program will show the resultant impact to the project completion date if the affected activities are critical. Now there are a few important points to note with respect to fragnets. The productivity you have for the activities within a fragnet should be similar to that used in your original approved as planned baseline program. Next, check and recheck activities in order to ensure that all the logic links are correct. Very important, do not delete any links from the original program apart from those required to logically connect a fragnet. Third point, check the calendars associated with the fragnets are identical to that of the original as planned program. Everything should be consistent. The most important point is that a fragnet may be inserted at the end of an affected activity or in between based on the date of occurrence of a delay event. I like to insert it in between an activity if the delay event took place at a particular time which fell in between an activity. So it keeps everything logical to a person who is analyzing the overall program. But you can also add it to the end. Delay events usually take place at various points in time while an activity is progressing. So in our master workshop, we will be inserting delay events at various points in time within an activity. So let's go straight into a workshop. There are a few important steps you need to follow while entering a fragnet into a network. So I'm just going to create a very simple program with a few activities, and then I'll demonstrate how to insert a fragnet. I'll be showing you two methods. The first method is relatively simpler than the second method, but it is important for you to understand how both methods work. For most of the workshops demonstrated in this master course, I will be using the second method, but it might be an idea for you to replicate the workshops by using the first method. It's a great way to learn. The program is ready. I've just linked all the activities and I'm going to give them a duration of 5 days each. And now it's time to insert our fragnet. So let's assume that the delay event affects activity 3. So the first step is to insert 3 new activities just below activity 3. So the first new activity, we will call it activity 3 pre-delay. The second activity will be the delay event itself. And the third new activity will be activity 3 post-delay. So this is your fragnet. Activity 3 pre-delay, the delay event, and activity 3 post-delay. So once you've created the fragnet, the first step is to make the delay duration 0. This is very important. And once you've done that, you can link the fragnets together and then link it to the network. In this particular scenario, activity 2 has got a finish to start relationship with activity 3, and activity 3 has a finish to start relationship with activity 4. Therefore, we are going to insert these two finish to start links to the activity 3 pre-delay and to the activity 3 post-delay. In effect, we're going to replace activity 3 with this fragnet. Now I'm just going to view the overall project start and finish dates just to make sure that when I make changes to the fragnet, there are no changes to the project start and finish dates. Now let's delete activity number 3 and make sure that the project start and finish dates have not changed. They haven't, so everything looks good. And now we can insert the actual delay duration to the delay event and see the change to the project finish date. So this is how you insert a fragnet into a network. Now let's look at the second method. The procedure is very similar. You insert 3 new activities below the affected activity. The only difference between this method and the previous method is that we're going to use Microsoft Project's calendar function to insert the relevant delay dates. And you also have to be cognizant of MS Project's options to move or link activities when you insert calendar dates. Now we're going to enter the calendar start date for the activity 3 pre-delay, and this date should be identical to the start date for activity 3, and the finish date for activity 3 pre-delay should be the date just before the delay event took place. The delay event took place on the 20th. Now MS Project will give you 2 options. Please make sure that you pick the second one. If you pick the first option, your network logic will get completely messed up. And now we enter the start date for the third activity. Again, MS Project will give you 2 options. Choose the second option. And now you can start internally linking the fragnet and then externally linking it to the main network. The logic links look good, so now we have to make sure that we delete the constraints that have been auto-inserted by MS Project, change it to the default as soon as possible. That'll get rid of the icons from the information column. Now let's continue linking the fragnet to the main network. Everything looks good, and now it's time to delete the original activity number 3. The finish date has not changed, therefore the fragnet has been successfully embedded within the entire network. And now you can change the delay event duration. As you can see, it's gone from 0 to 5, and it shows a revised completion date. So this is the second method you could use to insert or embed a fragnet into your program.